Welcome back to Askewed Reviews, and today we are doing another fan request, and it is for the 2006 horror comedy Black Sheep. Here is your trivia question for today. What food does Mrs. Mack offer experience at the end of the film? The answer will be at the end of this video. This film takes place in New Zealand and centers around two brothers, Henry and Angus Oldfield. The brothers grew up on a sheep farm, where unfortunately Angus terrorized his brother with a sheep corpse, which caused Henry to have a terrifying fear of sheep. Henry grew up and moved away, but he unfortunately now has to come back to the farm so that he can hopefully sell off his share, get some money, and get rid of any memories he has connected to this place. His older brother Angus stayed on the farm and, in fact, started reaching out to other means of making more money. For instance, genetic experimentation to try to find and make the perfect sheep. He gets assistance with this from a Dr. Rush, who seems to be a bit of a mad scientist. Now, we also have Grant and Experience. These are two activists that have decided that they're going to sneak their way onto the farm, find out what's going on, and stop it from happening. What they end up doing is finding a canister that has some weird sort of fetal sheep inside, and as they try to escape with it, the canister breaks open, and this fetal sheep seems to be able to carry some sort of deadly disease with it that it can transfer with its bite. When this mutation bites other sheep, it seems to make them feral and bloodthirsty, and when it bites humans, it turns them into were sheep. Now all the sheep on this farm seem to be out for blood, and they begin attacking all of the locals in the area. Now it looks like the day needs to be saved by Henry and Experience, along with a little help from some of the people that work on the farm, Tucker and Mrs. Mack. Oh, also, they have a faithful sheepdog to help them as well. This movie was written and directed by Jonathan King, who actually grew up on a sheep farm himself. Jonathan King states that much of this movie is inspired by the early works of Peter Jackson, movies like Bad Taste and Brain Dead. He also says he gained a lot of inspiration from movies like Night of the Living Dead and An American Werewolf in London. Weta Workshop, which is actually a company that was created by Peter Jackson, helped out quite a bit with this film, including with the animatronics. The were-sheep costume actually required 4 people to operate it correctly. By the way, in case you didn't know, Jonathan King actually does make a cameo in this movie. He's the gentleman that is trying to get into his car when he gets attacked by one of the sheep. He also managed to get in a reference towards his father in the movie. At one point, one of the characters is reading a book called The Penguin History of New Zealand, which was actually a book written by his father, Michael King. There's even a small Jurassic Park reference, with the actual container that the perfect sheep is in looking just like the container that the velociraptor was in from the first movie. The actor who gets attacked by the sheep and is missing a leg is actually played by an amputee named Jono Marks, who apparently had a lot of fun with this scene. This was actually Nathan Meister's very first feature film. He played the character of Henry. The sequence where the sheep is driving the truck took several days to film correctly. However, the sequence of the truck falling off the cliff and breaking only took one take. If you enjoyed this film, I definitely recommend also checking out movies like Zombievers, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, any of the Piranha movies, and the 2019 Little Monsters. This movie was definitely a fun watch. It was ridiculous and over the top, but exactly what a horror comedy should be. So I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 5. As for the trivia question from the beginning of this video, what food does Mrs. Mack offer to Experience at the end of the film? She offers to her mountain oysters, which, if you didn't know, are sheep's testicles. You may also have heard them called Rocky Mountain oysters. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews. If there's a movie you'd like to see get a review, just mention it in the comments. And as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe.